Hello, Power Up Nation. I am Pat Council, and I'm going to talk about your guide to authentic power. So, why do you need power? What is the big deal about power? Well, first of all, we all have power inside, and it is what we need to achieve goals, to overcome challenges in life, to get to where it is we desire to be. We all have things that we'd like to have in our lives. We like to see things play out a certain way. We like to make the right connections. We like to make connections, period. Well, good connections, that is. So your power allows you to do that. And it's not something that you should sell short. And if you don't understand how to come from inside out, how to build your life in that way, then it becomes a constant struggle in life. Okay. And don't get me wrong. I don't know about you guys, but a lot of people I know have challenges. I've had challenges. And I think, periodically challenges will come into our lives. This is where your power can step in and help you overcome it. Because with power comes faith. With faith comes the kind of confidence that you need to take action so that you can have let's say, a better life and ultimately what you consider to be your best life. And the thing about having the best life is that this is progressive. Okay, just when you think it can't get any better, when you're using your power in the right way, it gets better and better. It just keeps going to another level. So I thought I'd talk about, how to use your authentic power, or how to understand your authentic power and how to get to it. What is this all about? This is kind of like a guide to your authentic power. And I'm going to keep it very simple by using an acronym that spells the word real. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. First of all, when it comes to your authentic power, and tapping into that. And it's important that, you learn to be relevant. So that's what the R stands for in that word real. So you want to be relevant today. You want to be able to get the kind of results, which is another R that falls under that. You want to be able to get the kind of results that you're after. So what is this thing where we talk about being relevant, where we talk about getting results, and why is it really, or is it really attached to your power? Well, you guys know, whenever there's a biblical scripture, I bring it into play. And one of my favorite scriptures is, now unto him who's able to do exceeding and abundantly above all that we could ask or think, according to the power that worketh in me. Well, it says in you, but all of us. And so this means you have to work that power. Okay, you have to allow it to work in you. You have to make that connection with it. And we're not going to get into this today, but just really quickly, if you say, how do I work this power? First of all, you have to help your spiritual self and your soul. Your spirit and soul, they need to become best friends. Okay, remember the spirit, it's intact. It has answers. It sends you ideas. It provides you with the guidance that you need. The soul is what allows you to carry it out, or the soul could completely shut it down. I mean, you can hear these. Have you ever had an idea or a solution just screaming at you, do this, take action, take action, take action. And you waited, and then you think, man, I should have done X, Y, Z, whatever that may be. Well, that was your spirit guiding you. So your soul can shut it down. So as I said, your spirit, it has the answers, it guides you. Your soul is your mind, will, and emotions. Those three parts of you. And then you connect the physical, of course, which is your body, and that allows you to take the necessary action. That allows you to move. So, but it all begins with spirit and soul becoming best friends, with them making a connection, with them teaming up and saying, you know what, we are going to become so strong to the point where we cause our body to actually make a move, the physical part of ourselves. Because a lot of times there are things we know we should do, and we go, I'll get to that a little bit later. So mind, will, and emotion is your soul. And the object of the game is for you to strengthen that. So when it comes to you really tapping into your authentic power, that means you have to really strengthen your soul. And of course, the way you strengthen your soul, renew your mind daily. Okay. So with that being said, the R is be relevant, get results. Being relevant is about you being authentic. It is about you paying attention to what's going on around you and see what can you bring to the table that can either solve a problem or make, or let's say make things better, in that perhaps you team up with a group and you guys take things to another level. Okay, being relevant. What do you have to offer today? And if you're thinking, I don't have anything to offer today, we all have something to offer. Okay, you always have something to offer. And that's where you rely on your spirit to give you those ideas and to give you that guidance. So the R is be relevant and get results. The E is elevate your thinking and elevate your life constantly. A lot of times we become stagnant because we look at our lives and we go, okay, if I could just get to this position in my life, I'm good. I will have arrived. I'm settled. I'm there. Some people think retirement. If I can get my retirement pay, my life is good. I've got nothing else to offer. There's no such thing. We always have something to offer. You always have something better to bring to the table, something more, something that's going to not only improve your life, but it's going to improve the lives of so many other people. You just have to let that come out. Now, when I talked about the R, the relevant, being relevant and get results, and I talked about the soul, and one of the things, the soul is the mind, the will, and emotion. Well, in order to elevate your thinking, well, that's your mind. You have to think about where you are in your life today, and you have to think bigger thoughts. This is how you elevate your thinking. So you don't want to always think small and go in and thinking, well, I'll give it a try. Well, to step in and say you'll try, what does that even mean? When we're thinking we're going to try something, we're going in without confidence. And so that's not big thinking. You're not elevating your thinking. And that's why a lot of times I always say, try is a word that I don't like to use. Now, have I used it? Yes. And will I ever use it again? I can't say, but most likely depends on the context. But I can tell you the context in which it will not be used. It will not be used in a way such that I am thinking small. I'm coming from this position of smallness, because that's not how it's supposed to be. You don't want to cloud your mind with small thoughts. When we talk about elevating your thinking, then you can elevate your life, and you can do this constantly. Now, I want to throw something else in, but before I get to that, let me finish my thought on elevating your thinking. When you can think bigger thoughts, this is how you expand your mind. This is how you expand the way that you think about yourself, about where you're headed, and about everything in your life. At that point, you are activating this power that you have within. You are about to put that power to work. So you always want to work to elevate your thinking. And of course, elevate your life. Allow the next level to come. So the other thing I wanted to kind of throw in, as I'm saying this, I'm thinking, in order for you to elevate your thinking and elevate your life, you have to first evaluate everything. Evaluate your life. Take a look at what's going on around you. If you like it, and I'm talking about looking around first in your life. Okay, what's happening in your life? Are you achieving your goals? Are you getting to where it is you desire to be? So you want to take a look around and evaluate what's going on in your life. Sometimes, and I've shared this before on this podcast, there are times when I take a step back and I have to look at my life and I have to see, okay, this is where I am. Is this where I desire to be? Well, if I'm not where I desire to be, then I realize I need to ask myself the right questions, meaning the hard questions. Okay, why is this not happening? And what are you doing to prevent it? And are you thinking small? Do you know enough? Do you need to learn something new? So, do you need to connect with someone who's on either a higher level or someone who's in the arena that you would like to go into? Or better yet, someone who can bring some information to the table that's going to help make your life better, or that's going to add to wherever you're going. So you have to ask yourself the hard questions. One of the hardest questions I think that of all, well, for me, I'll just speak for myself. One of the hardest questions for me to ask myself is, are you really doing the work? All right, there's two, and then there's another one. Are you really doing the work? And do you think you know enough? Now, it's not coming from a place of arrogance or anything like that. And when I say it's a hard question, it's a hard question because sometimes I perhaps need an objective person who are looking and saying, you know what? I don't think you know what you're doing. You probably need to learn something else, because sometimes I think I know what I'm doing. And I hope I'm not alone in that. There are people who always think they know what they're doing, but sometimes it is good to have that feedback and say, hey, you might need a little bit of help in this area. So we can't all see ourselves perhaps the way other people can see us. And let me kind of rephrase that. You can see yourself the way other people see you if you take a step back and you spend that quality time and that quiet time. But when it comes to working on a project, that's something a little bit differently. Sometimes we get so bogged down into something, and sometimes we just need an objective eye, or at least I do. So elevate your thinking, elevate your life constantly. And of course, I added evaluate your life. And do that constantly as well. So now we got R, we got E. And so under the A, so let's go to A. You want to adjust your attitude toward the positive and the probable. Possibility thinking is a mind expanding activity. It is something that allows you to think about what's possible, not always if it's probable, or not always whether you can do it or not, but just the thought that you allow your mind to just really expand, and you let it go free to think about what is possible. The what if. What if this happened? What if I could have this? What if I could have, I don't know, a 10-story building? What if? What would I do? And of course, when you're doing this kind of thinking, you want to make sure it's connected to whatever project you're working on, your business. If you work a job, you want to make sure if you're working on getting promoted, you need to do the what ifs. You know, what if I did this, this, and this? Then they'd see that, wow, I am valuable. So don't be afraid to have that possibility, those possibility moments, okay, moments of possibility thinking. So, adjust your attitude toward the positive, and go, well, and I hear this sometimes. People go, well, sometimes when people are positive, they're not realistic. Well, faith is not always realistic, because faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It's not seen, and somehow people can't even work out how is this going to happen. But they have faith, and they're willing to take the first step or the second step and to do what they know and trust that the rest will come. Okay, or the rest will come, or the right person will come, or whatever it is they need, that it's going to come. And this is not something that I'm just saying because that's a biblical scripture or it sounds good. This is something I've done. Okay, there are times throughout my life as I, can think back, and there are times when I reflect, back on how my life is played out, and I go, wow, okay, I had faith for certain things, had no idea how it was going to happen, where it was going to come from, who would step into that space to help. And I had faith, though, that I'd do my part, and I trusted that God would do his. And of course he did. So you want to adjust your attitude toward the positive. Here's the thing about the negative. The negative, you already know what the negative is. There's no need to dwell on that. So look at the positive, because that's the way out. Okay, because with the positive comes the possibilities. Okay, so that's R, that's E, and that's A. And finally, L, my favorite one, love. So we're talking about love in every sense of the word. A lot of times when people have these big ideas and these grand ideas and these big goals, and they want to make these goals happen, and the goals aren't happening the way they had hoped. And you know what happens? They become afraid, or they become fearful. But here's the scripture that says perfect love casteth out fear. So when it comes to love, you want to make a decision that you're going to love life with passion, because passion is connected to power. Okay. And love is definitely connected to power. So you want to love life with passion. You want to love other people, and you want to nurture those special relationships that you have, and love what you do. Okay. Embrace your calling. Don't back away from it. I can't tell you the number of people that I've coached, and there are lots of people I've coached who they know what they want to do and they're ready to go for it. But there's also people who I've coached and they come to me and to discover, what are they good at? What are they really good at? What they think they are, or think they're good at? Is this their goal? Is this their talent? Is this their gift? And so after we're done talking and we go through some things, then they discover, wow, you know what? This is my gift. And then fear sets in. I've never done it before. I'm afraid. I don't trust myself to make this happen. Well, see, here's the thing. All you have to do sometimes is just be obedient, be willing, and fall in love with the idea of who you are. And once you can do that, then things will start to work out for you. Does that mean you don't have to do work? Of course it does not. You always have to do some work. And so you want to look at your life like that. And so this is how you get real. This is how you keep it real. And this is how you get to your authentic power. Okay. So the R, I went through that one, relevant and get results. The E, evaluate your thinking, or elevate your thinking, elevate your life, and evaluate your life, and do this constantly. A is adjust your attitude toward the positive and possibilities. Don't shy away from possibility thinking. And of course, L is love life with a passion, love others, nurture your relationships. And we're not just talking about romantic relationships. Okay. We're not talking about you and your spouse. That's a part of it, but we're talking about family. We're talking about friends. Okay. And you want to have a genuine love, agape type love for people. Okay. So, and you want to fall in love with your gift. Here's the beautiful part about falling in love with your gift. And you guys might think this is a little conceited, but I promise you it's not. You fall in love with your gift. I find that to be a great deal of respect that you have for your gift. But to fall in love with your gift that you've been given, your gift and talents, is to fall in love with yourself. And there's nothing conceited about that. Okay. There's a difference between loving yourself. So, see, people use the words like soft care or self-care. Okay. Well, if you didn't love yourself, you wouldn't operate in self-care. You wouldn't even participate in it. You wouldn't even do it. If you didn't love yourself, there are a lot of things you wouldn't do. You wouldn't take care of anything about you. Okay. You'd say, come with me. Who cares? Right? So there's nothing wrong with loving yourself. Love is a very, very powerful energy. As a matter of fact, in my opinion, it's one of the most powerful energies that exists. Why? Because the Bible says that God is love. So if you love someone, or if you love what you do, and there's love, 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 then there's some serious power going on. A lot of action that's happening and a lot of great results that's coming. So when you put all these together, this is your guide to your authentic power. This is how you get to your power. This is how you stop making excuses for not being your best. This is how you not say things like, well, I guess I could do it. Well, I guess I'd be good at it. This is how you not downplay the best of who you are. This is how you stand up and you bring that power to the forefront. See, you have to understand when you can do that, now you're becoming this magnetic human being and people want to be in your space and people want to connect to you. So whatever it is you are hoping for, working for, looking for, you know what? You have to find that kind of power. Don't be shy. Don't be timid. And here's a little caveat for you. Another one of my caveats is that don't confuse not being shy with being loud and boisterous and bulldozing through the place. Like, hey, look at me. I'm here now. Everything can come to a stop. That's something very different. Okay. No, I'm saying take your confidence with you. And so when you walk in confidently, something great is going to happen. As we wrap up, there's just another thing I want to say about love, because love is extremely important. And also I want to address the positive thinking. I want to tell you that, first of all, there's no spiritual law or any law that exists, scientific law on earth that compels people to think of negative things, to dwell on negative things. Now, I know you're thinking, wait a minute, there's a positive and a negative in everything. Yeah, there is, scientifically speaking. However, there's no law that compels you to think. That's the key word, to think and dwell on negative things. Okay. So you have been given, I guess one of the great gifts that you've been given is your imagination, the faculty of imagination. So you have that God-given faculty of imagination, and you're supposed to use that to think towards the possible and think towards what's positive. And the other thing I want to say about love is that when you have fear thoughts or worry thoughts or negative thoughts, or you're always worried about what's going to happen, then you know what? You can overcome all of that by putting your love energy out there, reminding yourself. Paul tells us, and this is in the Bible, to think on these things, whatever is just, whatever is good, whatever is noble. So to think of beautiful things, to think of what's good. And so when you can start thinking of that, keep in mind, this is your energy. Your mind has drawn a picture now because you're thinking of something beautiful. And so your energy is attaching to it and your power is being ignited so that you can follow through. So this is kind of a guide to your authentic power. And this is how you use that power so that you can, do life with power. See, when I'm always saying that you're built by design to win, that's not just something, it's a good tagline. But that's not just something I'm saying because it sounds good and it feels good. I'm saying it because it's true. When you know how to use what you already have, what's inside you to produce the better life on the outside, then you'll recognize that, wow, I am built by design to win. Built by design to win does not mean you're not going to face challenges. I have to point that out again. That bears repeating. It doesn't mean you're not going to face challenges. But what it does mean is that because you're built by design to win, that in the end, if you persist, if you do what you're supposed to do, if you use your power in the right way and attach it to what I've just mentioned here about being relevant and elevating your thinking and your attitude and love and all of that, you're going to win. Okay, it's going to work out for you. Listen, I hope you guys enjoy this magnificent Monday. We're about to go into a new month. That's exciting. And so, Tune in tomorrow. I've got some good things to share with you. In the meantime, do life with power because you're built by design to win.